Hi guys, since 53, we're only one from the last sense. Wow, this has been such an interesting journey for me. Okay, so spiritual sense, if you've read the title of the video. And interesting that that's an actual sense, isn't it? A spiritual sense. Let me read the entire title to you. It's a long one today. Spiritual sense, including conscience, capacity for sublime love, ecstasy, a sense of sin, profound sorrow, and sacrifice. I told you it was a long one. Wow. Go ahead and do your journal work for the next to the last time on this class. So I just about every time we go over a sense, I feel this sense, which is another sense, right, that we went over, of appreciation, that we have these senses built in, that we are naturally drawn towards health, rejuvenation, healing, and just optimal living and balance within our environment, whatever that is. I love that we have these 54 senses that are hardwired into us that keep us in that homeostasis and balance. And I think the fact that we've kind of forgotten about them, gotten detached from them, we've disembodied ourselves from many of these senses is really apparent in our society. I'll talk more about this, I think, maybe on the last video and just do a little wrap up. But I just have such a sense of appreciation that we actually have all of these web strings drawing us into healthy connection with our environment and everyone around us, including all the natural elements. So I don't think I'm going to take this apart. I think I'm just going to do sort of a quick hit on all of this spiritual sense. So unless we have damage, like early childhood damage, where I think any of these senses, but maybe especially this one, is damaged. You can see some people are sociopathic and really don't have a sense of conscience, for instance, or a sense of doing something wrong or hurting someone. So we're not talking about that. We're talking about more typically developing people, which is the vast majority of us, do have this sense of spirituality and everything else that is included with that. Which, how amazing that all of that is included in the sense of spirituality. And I think we tend to have sometimes a very limited definition of spirituality. And maybe for some people that has to do with a specific religion or going to church or, even the goddess idea or even just, spiritual, not religious, right? Like we have a kind of a concept of what that is. And how nice to actually recognize, reading all of these parts that are in spirituality: conscience, capacity for sublime love, ecstasy, a sense of sin, profound sorrow, and sacrifice, are all actually aspects of spirituality and aspects of being truly alive and aspects of ourselves that we can experience when we are embodying ourselves in an authentic manner. Amazing. And obviously we have this attraction towards spirituality. I think otherwise we wouldn't have the spiritual aspects in our life that we do. And this is, I think, kind of on the rise in some senses. But in some sense, it's obviously always been around, and just sort of kind of shifts what it looks like and what it means for us and how we participate in that. And we're in a time where we get to decide for ourselves how we get to participate in our particular experience of spirituality. And how lovely is that? How incredible is that? So, what is your attraction with spirituality? I would love for you to journal about that today. What is your attraction? For some people, for me, a huge part of it is nature and watching how nature unfolds and watching myself in the mirror of nature. And I'm also this person. I love crystals. I feel the energy in trees. I feel the energy in plants. There's a spiritual aspect in my mind to everything. There are sort of there are a lot of levels, but if we sort of roughly divide them into these two, we have the circumstantial part of life. What's happening outside, right? Outside. What are the events happening in our life? And then underneath that, there are many layers to this, of course, like I said, but there's the spiritual aspect of it. And if you want to get down to the very bottom of it, which for me, for a long time, I just wanted to dig and dig and dig until I knew what's at the bottom, who really am I, and what is all this? And to a very large degree, that has been answered for me. And that was a really fun quest to go on. And I certainly am always kind of like ironing things out and like really looking at things from different perspectives, and also habituating living in, for instance, a really high vibration, that kind of thing. So, but at the very base of it, even in scientific terms, we are energy. We are energy, and there are different energies to different emotions that can be measured. So if you want to get down to that level or up to that level, that's kind of the base of things, right? And for me, that's very intuitively aligned to be in a state where I am grounded enough, embodying myself enough that I am actually reading those energies rather than, for instance, someone's words or a speech. And it can be tricky sometimes because we are up and down depending on where we are and where we are living in that moment. Are we in our head? Are we in our heart? Are we really in our bodies and in awareness of what is right now? So depending on where we are, we may or may not be able to kind of read where other things are happening, where other people are, or the energy from plants, that kind of thing. Because if I'm intentional about it, I can go around and feel the energy from each plant in my house. But many, many times I am not in that state, and I am hardly even noticing them. It's just kind of part of the backdrop, I hate to say. But, that's also part of neurological kind of habituation too. But yeah, the fact that we have this sense of spirituality, we have this sense to kind of look for who we are and what does all this mean, and does it mean anything, and can I even know what it means, because I'm always only seeing through the filter of my brain. And but we have that internal sense to kind of to investigate there. If we have enough time, if we're not just in survival mode, basically, that people have those questions, and we tend to investigate that. And I just find that very fascinating, that that's part of our makeup and one of our senses. Okay, go ahead and do your journal work, anything that you feel about that. And if you can do it in wild nature, as always, that is the best, because you're going to be so much more connected. And if you've got your shoes off and your feet in the dirt, even better. So I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.